I had a question on intermittent fasting. Now, all these different programs have been around in one form or another for years. One diet that was very popular is called the warrior diet. And there's a great deal of scientific evidence to show what happens when you consume food under these recommended ways. The other big thing, of course, is to go low carb for 5 days and then stuff yourself with carbs over the weekend, as if this will have some advantage. Now, to really understand how to analyze any of these programs, you have to understand fundamentally what enzymes are. Enzymes are the gatekeepers that determine where foodstuff goes. And that's very important to understand. Let's take a look at the enzyme lipoprotein lipase. I did my doctoral thesis on lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase, the enzyme, is in the capillaries of fat tissue and muscle tissue. Now, the type of food that you eat determines the activity level of the lipoprotein lipase. What it actually does, it takes circulating triglycerides. The triglyceride looks like the letter E, and it's got a backbone on it, like this. And that's a triglyceride, 3,3. Each one breaks down into becoming an individual free fatty acid that your body can metabolize through the liver, your muscles can burn it, and then it also could be absorbed into adipose tissue where it's converted into fat. Lipoprotein lipase has a maximum increase in activity in muscle tissue when its lowest rate of activity is in adipose tissue. So they're diametrically opposed to one another. So the lipoprotein lipase is high in muscle, it's going to be low in adipose. And the type of food that you eat determines how this goes, how this runs. Now, maximum levels of lipoprotein lipase can be attained within 12 hours. And it can go to its minimum level within 12 hours. So these enzymes are very, very active, and they change very, very rapidly. So if you're going to understand anything about what happens with these different ways of eating, you have to understand what's happening with the enzymes. So let's take the warrior diet, for example. In that diet, you would shove in all the food during the course of your day within 2 hours. Now, I wrote a paper years ago called Stuff Starve. In fact, this is the title of many of the research papers that are in the scientific literature called Stuff Starve. And research has been done for years and years in humans and laboratory animals to see what happens when they're fed this way. Now, in the paper, I have an example. The average body weight at 10 weeks was 240 grams in the animals who ate whenever they wanted, and was 383 grams in the animals receiving all of their food during a 2-hour daily period. So you can see what happens. So the enzymes that take food and convert it into body fat become maximally active. They increase their number and their rate of activity. So when they begin to see circulating foodstuffs, they can rapidly replenish the fat in the fat cells. So this is a disastrous way to eat. Same thing with the ketogenic diet, where you do it for 5 days and then you stuff yourself, glycogen load over the weekend. Same thing happens. All your enzymes are revved up to restore things. So you're just messing with yourself when you eat like this and follow these diets. Intermittent fasting is going to be the same thing, as if there's some value or health value to intermittent fasting. There is none. And then we never get to the point where people start talking about the enzymes, where they start actually talk about what I call the mechanism of action. They have some theoretical construct of the health-giving value for eating in this fashion. So all these things are a disaster. So stay away from intermittent fasting. Generally stay away from fasting. You'll lose everything. I mean, when I fasted years and years ago, when I was learning all this stuff, I lost all my muscle. Lost every single bit of it. It was an absolute disaster. So be careful with these things, and don't follow these crazy diets. Keep your carbs low keep your protein moderate, keep your fat high. I'm Dr. Greg Ellis.